doing a pen test, and I ran into a gap where I needed to intercept and modify gRPC communications. So I wrote an extension to do that. Normally in the past, you'd use like Postman, import your proto files, and then send them to your upstream proxy, which would be Burp, and then import, take your requests from your proxy and then send them to repeater, and then kind of modify them there or whatever. Um, so with this tool, let's add it here. Uh, you load it, no errors. You got your gRPC decoder tab. I also have a listening server here on port 50051. It's just a basic gRPC server, nothing special there. So yeah, it adds this tab here, gRPC decoder. If you have include files, like so if you're using like Google proto files or anything like that, you want to include them here. It's also a good idea to include the root of your C drive. For this project, it's super simple. It's just for show, right? I have the proto file here. So you just open that, and you have your create item, right? This is super simple. It's 50051 is the port. This is on localhost. It always has to be HTTPS because Burp doesn't really understand HTTP when it comes to gRPC. So you just send it to repeater. So it's super simple. You import your proto file. All your services are listed in this here, and then they're also listed here for all your requests. Send your repeater. You add any headers. If you have an also authorization header, just throw it in here in your request. Here you have, so here's my request, right? Just basic JSON. Name, test and make test, description. Frame. Here you have your decoded request. You can send it. Now, here's your encoded response, right? And if you look at your logger, you can see it actually encodes it, so it doesn't look the same. The JSON's encoded and it's sent on its way. Another feature here is once this is in here, you can. So if you were to send your payloads from Postman in, it would be the encoded data you would send it to repeater. So here you would pretty much attach your request here, decode gRPC from the Postman, and then it would say, okay, it'll always use this create request item request for decoding that request specifically. Then you can do whatever you want with it. But you could also, if it's encoded, you could decode now to this gRPC decoder tab because it has a little space for that, or open decoded JSON in repeater. So if it was encoded, it would decode it into repeater, right? With that assigned service thing here. Or you can, if you have it open in repeater, you can re-encode it and send it to repeater. So for example, here, if I were to take this and then encode it, right? So now that request is encoded here and I could just send it on its way. And use these headers, right? So if you look here, you have additional request headers versus here you don't. You send it, it works that way, right? So let's go back here. Extensions, gRPC decoder. You could also open it in Intruder. So that's another cool feature, right? So here you send this. Well, it's already decoded, so you don't have to decode it in an Intruder. So let's just set it to Intruder. With Intruder, you can just say, okay, let's add a couple spots here. Let's just set its numbers just for show. 0 through 10, start attack. So here's your request. You got 2, 3, 9, right? And here's your responses. It's encoded. But if you look at your logger, you can see all your intruder requests. It's encoded 6, 9, blah blah blah. It's all encoded. Also, if you go back to your intruder, another piece that I added to this is that you could actually scan the defined insertion point. So but to do that, you need to check this box, enable gRPC re-encoding for scanner. So let's do that. Intruder, and then scan define insertion point, and scan configuration, just do new, just add a couple of things in here just to for show, whatever. Save, scan. So I just kicked off a scan. We can look at logger, right? We should see the scanner, right? So here's your scanner. You see your encoded request from scanner. It's all encoded here. So pretty neat. And that's about all I got.